Doubt crept in. Was I overreacting? Was this really such a big deal? I didn't want to create problems before our marriage had even begun. Torn, I decided to seek advice from my mom, the most rational person I knew. She had experienced Chase's family's pranks firsthand, but had never held any resentment toward them. "Mom, I need your advice," I said when I called her. "Is it wrong to not want pranks at our wedding?" She listened patiently. "Why do you feel that way?" she asked, her tone calm and curious. "I just want a traditional wedding. I'm worried the pranks might go too far. Chase is upset, and I've already argued with his parents. They agreed to stop, but something feels off," I admitted. She sighed. "You're not wrong for wanting that. Weddings are personal, and you have every right to ask for a prank-free day. Have you talked to Chase again?" I had a strong suspicion that Chase and his family were plotting something behind my back. My gut feeling told me they wouldn't let the wedding go by without some sort of stunt. Seeking comfort, I called my mom. "Keep trying to talk to him. You'll figure it out eventually," she advised with her usual calmness. Her reassurance helped me regain confidence, so I took her advice and kept pushing for an open conversation with Chase. After a few days, he started loosening up, though I could still sense some lingering hesitation. I assumed he was struggling with the guilt of letting go of his family's traditions. 3 weeks before the wedding, Chase's demeanor shifted. He became more affectionate and cheerful, telling me everything was fine. "I promise, I've respected your wishes," he reassured me when I expressed my doubts. The wedding day arrived, and the ceremony was everything I had dreamed of. As I walked down the aisle, emotions overwhelmed us both, and happy tears were shed. It was truly a moment to remember. Then, the reception took a turn I never anticipated. Just as we reached the cake table, Idris grabbed a piece and hurled it in our direction, triggering a full-on cake fight. I stood there, frozen in disbelief, as Chase and Killy eagerly joined in. Laughter erupted from his parents, but the room fell into an awkward silence. My face burned with embarrassment. "Why would you do this?" I asked Chase, my voice shaking with emotion. Unable to take it anymore, I turned and walked away. Chase quickly followed, grabbing my hand. "What's wrong?" he asked, his expression one of feigned innocence. I stared at him in shock. "Are you seriously asking me that? I made one request, just one, and you all ignored it." He attempted to laugh it off. "Come on, it was just a harmless joke." I could hardly believe what I was hearing. "I'm upset that you betrayed my trust. You went behind my back and allowed this to happen, thinking it would be funny. But all it did was humiliate me." Chase sighed defensively. "It was my parents' idea. I just went along with it." I shook my head, feeling utterly betrayed. "That's the problem. You knew how I felt, yet you didn't stop them. Instead, you let them go through with it and now expect me to just brush it off. And worse, you're making me feel like I'm overreacting." His expression softened slightly. "I didn't mean to upset you." Tears welled in my eyes. "This isn't just about the prank. I spent so much on my dress, my hair, my makeup, all of it ruined. You stole the moment I wanted, the memories, the pictures." Heartbroken, I left and went to my mother's house. Thankfully, I had a spare key. I took a long shower, letting the water wash away the cake and my frustration. In the following days, Chase failed to grasp the full impact of what he had done. I distanced myself from him and his parents, turning to my mother for comfort. To my surprise, even our wedding guests had been unimpressed by the prank. Chase's parents faced backlash, though they seemed unaffected. Despite this, Chase kept trying to apologize. After a week of silence, I finally agreed to see him. There was genuine remorse in his eyes as he spoke softly. "I'm truly sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I swear, nothing like this will happen again." Reluctantly, I gave him another chance. It took 4 months before his parents finally reached out. "We're really sorry for what happened," Killy said, her tone uneasy. We never meant for things to get out of hand. I folded my arms. It took you 4 months to say that. Idris looked uncomfortable. We didn't realize how much it had hurt you. After a long pause, I decided holding on to resentment wasn't worth it. They made an effort, inviting us to dinner and avoiding any pranks. I cautiously forgave them, seeing that they were at least trying to change. 3 years later, I received a promotion and found myself with extra money. How about we take a luxury trip to Venice? I suggested to Chase. His eyes lit up. That sounds amazing, but shouldn't we save more for the house? I smiled. I already have. This is just for us to enjoy. After discussing it further, Chase hesitated before adding, "What if we invite my parents? They haven't been on a vacation in years. It might be nice." I hesitated. I don't know. They'd need to cover their own expenses, and we'd still need space. Of course, he assured me. I just think it would be a good opportunity to bond. Despite my reservations, I agreed. 5 days before the trip, Killy and Idris stayed at our place to be closer to the airport. Everything seemed normal. As I packed, I handed them their tickets and passports, watching as they barely glanced at them. A knowing smirk played on my lips. My plan had worked. I had given them one-way tickets to Venice. If they tried any pranks, they'd have to figure out their own way back during peak travel season. That night, I went to bed feeling triumphant. But when I woke up, something was wrong. The house was eerily silent. I checked the guest room. Empty. Their luggage was gone. My heart pounded as I rushed back to our room. That's when I saw the note on the door. Gotcha. Another prank. But this time, I wasn't angry. I was done. I had hoped we were moving past this childish behavior, but it was clear Chase and his parents still found joy in ruining significant moments. Once I confirmed their flight had landed, I called. Chase and Idris ignored my calls, but Killy finally picked up. "Did you really leave without telling me?" I asked, frustration evident in my voice. She chuckled. "You can just book another ticket and join us." I didn't hold back. "You might want to check your tickets." A brief silence. Then Killy's voice erupted in panic. "What? You're joking." "I'm not. Hope you enjoy finding a way home," I said before hanging up. The endless calls and voicemails from Chase followed, first filled with anger, then with desperate pleas. I ignored every single one. I had made my decision. I filed for divorce. Looking back, I realized how important it is to uphold boundaries, no matter who tries to push past them. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It's necessary. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay stunned.
Hi, I'm Susan. The story I'm about to share took place a few years ago, and looking back, I'm grateful to have distanced myself from those involved. While there were moments of joy, the bad ultimately outweighed the good, leading to the end of our relationship. Before diving into what happened, it's important to provide some context about my ex-husband Chase and his family. Chase and I met in our final year of college. We often found ourselves studying at the library on weekends, which led to casual conversations, followed by dates, and eventually a relationship. About 6 months after graduation, we decided to take the next step and move in together. Chase had a relaxed, easygoing personality, which balanced my structured and organized nature. His carefree attitude complemented my tendency to plan things in advance. Once we had settled into our routine, we agreed it was time to introduce each other to our families. My family, being protective, put Chase through a thorough round of questioning before finally approving of him. Meeting Chase's parents, however, gave me insight into the source of his laid-back demeanor. His family had a strong bond built around humor, particularly pranks. While they respected my dislike for being the target of pranks, my initiation into their world happened early in our relationship. The first time I met them, they served me an oversized portion of food. Completely unaware of their playful nature, I wasn't prepared for what was happening. Chase hadn't warned me about their fondness for practical jokes. As everyone exaggerated how amazing the meal was, I continued eating, not wanting to seem rude. Chase's father, Idris, urged me on, saying, "Come on, Susan, you have to finish it all. We wouldn't want you leaving the table hungry." I was already feeling uncomfortably full when Chase's mother suddenly burst into laughter. Confused, I glanced at her and she finally admitted, "Oh, sweetheart, stop eating. It's just a joke." They explained that this was their way of welcoming me into the family. Despite my initial surprise, I found myself laughing along with them. From that moment on, my relationship with Chase's parents became more comfortable. Whenever I visited, I remained on high alert, anticipating their next prank or, on occasion, even joining in on the fun myself. Over time, I learned to enjoy their humor, and Chase loved that I could handle their antics without getting upset. One day, after visiting his parents, I turned to Chase and asked, "Why do you always make such a big deal about me handling their pranks so well?" He shrugged. "Because you actually don't mind them." I raised an eyebrow. That's hardly a reason. Who wouldn't be okay with harmless pranks? Chase sighed. "You'd be surprised. I've had past relationships, and because my parents' pranks were too much for them." I was taken aback. "Really? That seems a little extreme. It's all in good fun." Chase nodded. "Exactly. And honestly, I'm not even that into pranks myself. That's why I appreciate that you don't take them too seriously. You even join in sometimes." I smiled. "As long as no one crosses a line or gets hurt, I don't see the harm." Chase grinned. "I seriously lucked out with you." I playfully replied, "I'd love to agree, but honestly, this is just basic tolerance. I do have to wonder about the women you dated before me, though." It warmed my heart to know that Chase saw me as different from his past partners. He was the first person I felt completely at ease with, someone with whom I could truly be myself. He always respected my boundaries while ensuring we had fun together. I was convinced I had found someone special. After 4 years of dating, our engagement came as no surprise to anyone. Chase even proposed in a way that perfectly aligned with his family's playful nature. During dinner at his parents' house, his mother, Killy, accidentally spilled wine on my dress. Laughing, I knew it had to be another prank. She led me upstairs to change, handing me a pair of sweatpants and a hoodie. "My nicer clothes are in the wash," she explained. I hesitated for a moment. "What about Idris's clothes?" I asked, thinking they might be a better fit. Killy shook her head. "Oh, those would be way too big. Just wear these for now." Not wanting to argue, I slipped into the outfit she had given me and headed back downstairs. Just as I reached the bottom step, Killy suddenly pointed at my hoodie pocket. "Hey, what's that?" she asked with feigned curiosity. Puzzled, I reached in and pulled out a small box. Inside was a beautiful engagement ring. As I stared in shock, Chase dropped to one knee and proposed. I was completely caught off guard, but I couldn't stop laughing. It was, without a doubt, the best prank they had ever pulled. We set our wedding for the following year. Although I enjoyed Chase's family's humor, I knew I didn't want any pranks on our wedding day. I wanted everything to go smoothly. No surprises, no potential embarrassment. Since I wasn't sure how to address the topic with his parents, I hoped Chase would handle it for me. One night before bed, I decided to bring it up. "Hey, I need to talk to you about something," I said carefully. "What is it?" Chase asked, turning to me. "I love your family and all the fun we have together, but I really don't want any pranks at our wedding," I admitted. He frowned. "Why not?" "I just want everything to go perfectly," I explained. Chase smirked. "What's more perfect than everyone having a good laugh?" I shook my head. There are plenty of ways to make people laugh without pranking someone, especially not on our wedding day. Plus, my parents wouldn't appreciate it. That's why I was hoping you could talk to your family about it. Chase sighed and shook his head. "No way. They won't listen to me." I was taken aback. "I understand that your family enjoys pranks, but this is my wedding too. I'm only asking for a few hours without jokes. Just this once." He shrugged. "I'll go along with whatever you want, but I'm not going to be the one to tell them. If you don't want pranks, you'll have to ask them yourself." His reaction frustrated me. I didn't think I was asking for much, and I knew I would never put him in a position where he had to confront my parents over something that made him uncomfortable. Despite my efforts to get Chase to speak to his family, he refused. Determined to have a prank-free wedding, I decided to bring it up myself. One evening, I invited Killy and Idris over for dinner and carefully broached the subject. I just wanted to discuss something about the wedding. I began hesitantly. I know you love pranks, but I'd really prefer if there weren't any on the big day. Killy frowned, and Idris gave me a surprised look. You're taking away a family tradition from Chase on his wedding day, she argued. I took a deep breath. I understand that it's important to you. I don't think it needs to happen at such a significant event. I replied as calmly as possible. An awkward silence settled over the room. Eventually, they reluctantly agreed not to pull any pranks at the wedding, but the tension lingered. After they left, I let out a sigh of relief. However, I soon noticed a shift in Chase's behavior. He became distant, and no matter how much I tried to talk to him, he remained withdrawn.